Yeah, I mean, we felt he's part of our core moving forward. He's a show character. What happened with the incident, got hurt, came back strong. Uh, was a guy that cares about the team, put his teammates, and it's something we want to tie it up. And we figured that it was a good deal for us to have him done, and he felt the same way. So we're happy that we could reach an agreement.
The length of the term, Marc, did Pacioretty's camp express an interest in pursuing a term similar to what you signed Price to recently and what Georgia signed to over last season?
Well, obviously they agree on the deal was a 6-year deal. So from the get-go, we want to have a long term. They did, so it was perfect, scenario on both sides.
When did talks with Pacioretty's camp start about re-signing him?
It was a while back. It took a while. I mean, it's not something that happened overnight. It was, it's a process when you negotiate a contract.
And was it the Canadiens approaching him, or was it them approaching you?
I think it was both. Both sides were. I think Max showed he wanted to stay here, and we wanted to keep him here. So it was perfect.
Were those negotiations in place already when you took over, Marc? Or
No.
Okay, so you commenced them.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
With the length of the contract and then the 6 years to carry Price, is this a message that these guys are the nucleus of the team that you're going to be building around for the next little while?
Yes. Plus, it showed that these guys are the good young players, among the best in their position as young, and showed that they want to be in Montreal for a long period of time. I think it showed our fans and the city of Montreal that there's a place where they want to play and want to be successful. So I think that's huge moving forward with our core players, which are young kids.
And it sends a message to the rest of the league too, that you've got a core that you're building.
Correct. I mean, I believe that when you identify the players you like and their core, you do everything you can to keep them. And they want to stay in Montreal, which is even better.
In that regard, Marc, did Max take a little bit of a hometown discount, so to speak?
I thought I felt comfortable with the deal. We felt comfortable, and at this time, I don't see any discount. I feel like we made a big commitment for a young player, and he did the same thing. So, today I talked to Mac this morning. He's excited, and so are we.
I know you said in French you don't want to talk about PK. The negotiations are ongoing. Obviously he would have to be considered a core player, though.
Well, he's a good young player, and then there's a lot of things that comes into play, but, there's potential there for sure, yes.
What was your reaction when some of the details of the negotiation got leaked publicly? Did you take note of that it was out there, and how did you react to seeing that?
I don't read. I just go about my business, and I think that's the best way for me to do it, and I made that clear from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Marc, how close are you and PK to coming to an agreement? Because a lot of fans are...
Well, I just want to mention that, and I did it in French, I'll do it in English. I don't want to talk about, out of respect for PK and his agent, in the media about negotiation. It's an ongoing process that has been going on, and we're talking, and hopefully we'll get to an agreement in time.
Can you speak about that 2-year offer that was rejected by Subban's camp?
No, I'm not going to discuss any of that.
Do you have any comments concerning the proposition of the Players Association to the league?
No, it's business as usual for us, and camp is about a month away, so that's how we do our business.
Shane Doan's name has come up.
Well, we show interest like a lot of teams did, and believe that Shane wants to take his time, and he has the right to do so. But we show interest, and we'll see what happens.
Is there room for him here?
You could always make room for players. There's always things possible. If you want a player, you always find a way to get him.
I think you also said you're confident that if you don't get him...
Oh, for sure. I felt that we have some good young players pushing, coming through. With Michel as a head coach, with the success he had with young players, that there's a place here for a young guy to come in camp and make a name of himself for himself.
Is there any thought of bringing anybody else in? Or
At this time, no. Obviously anything's possible, but it's not like we're shopping and looking around.
Because David Darnay was a big part of Cole and Pacioretty's success this past season, Marc, are you looking at the possibility of fixing him?
Well, we're not going to shut the doors on that because he's a good young player that, the success he had last year, and we'll discuss it. We just finished yesterday, so, but I'm not going to say no or yes, but there's a possibility that we'll do something with him if it works out.
How would you describe the activity or the frequency of trade talk around the league right now?
I'm not sure with the other 29 GM. I think my phone is pretty quiet right now, and it has been for a while.
Mark, you touched on it when you mentioned Pacioretty obviously coming back from that horrible accident, but for you, what else about him sets him apart from other young hockey players?
Well, he's got size. I mean, he's a power forward. He's young. He's got determination. I mean, he won the Masterton. That goes a long way to show what he did, you know, how he bounced back. And if you want to build about skill and character, I think he's got that. And for us moving forward, that's a key.
Mark, you know, we weren't here when Max was going through the rehab after his accident, but knowing what he did go through, is your perception that that experience solidified his feelings about Montreal and this organization, and that was part of what went into the decision to want to stay long-term?
Well, I've never had that conversation with him, but I'm sure he did, because, you know, it was tough, and the way he bounced back and the way the sea was behind him, he really helped make the decision for him to want to be in Montreal.
What do you think Max's ceiling is as a player?
I mean, you tell me. I think
you're the GM, man.
Yeah, well, I think he's just scratching the surface now. I think there's, you know, he's still 23-year-old player. I mean, he works out. He's committed. I mean, we like what we saw last year. Obviously, I wasn't here, but I mean, talked with our guys, and they felt comfortable, and I felt for sure comfortable to, you know, bring him back for 6 years.
Mark, was it, several players were injured at the end of the season. Is there any concern to any of those players?
No, I mean, I've been, you know, Andrei Markov has been missing for 2 years. He's here every day working out, looking strong, and he's a big part of his team. So let's not forget, you know, he wasn't here for the last 2 years. So with Andrei healthy, it's a different hockey club.
Jonathan?
Same thing. I saw him about, trying to think, maybe a month and a half ago. He came back, got clear, looked strong. And again, you know, if he's healthy, that's another guy that, you know, if you have him in the lineup for 80 games, that's a big difference on your hockey team.
Brendan Prust?
He's here. We got him for 4 years. Again, this.
I mean, is there any concern? I mean, he had hand surgery. He's a fighter. That's,
Well, anybody that fights, you know, there's always a downside for that. But injuries do happen. But he's healthy right now. That's all I could say.
If this is your club going into the season as it stands, I know you spoke about Don, but you mentioned the difference that Andrei Markov can make. Can you try to quantify how much of a difference you think that would make for your club?
If Andrei's in the lineup, well, I mean, I think it's huge. I mean, a defenseman that could make a good first pass, you know, could play 20-plus minutes a night against the other team top line. I mean, those don't grow on trees. So if they go down, they're hard to replace, and that was the case the last 2 years in Montreal. So I feel we're a different hockey club when we have him healthy.
You've got a lot of defensemen, but you've gone through a lot of defensemen the last couple of years with injuries and things like that. But you've got 8 defensemen on one-way contracts.
Well, my philosophy, you never have enough too many defensemen. You could always deal within your strength. If you know, it's easier to move a defenseman than looking for one.
Shane Doan being one of Carey Price's relatives, did you ever reach out to him and maybe see if he can get the family connection going?
No. I think Shane. I mean, he's at a point of his career where I'm sure he has his own family that he makes decisions for. So I didn't want to put Carey in that position.